Welcome back, you sci-fi nerds, to another lovely day of podcast Trevor and Kaylee. Welcome back. Have anything to add to that intro? That magnificent intro?
Let's see. No, actually, that's pretty good.
Okay, was it good? I don't think it was.
I don't like how you introduced me.
How did I introduce you?
You just said Trevor and Kaylee.
Trevor and Kaylee. Kaylee and Trevor.
I like that.
One has predominance.
Kaylee and her sidekick, Trevor.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Sci-fi sidekick.
Sci-fi sidekick. You're the sidekick, though.
Once again.
I'm the main character. You peek the mic, so you don't even. You peek the mic, so you don't even know. Well, it seems like Dan Sylveste is in a wee bit of a pickle here. We're approaching Delta Pavonis with Volyova and Khouri. So Dan Sylveste better be on the prowl. Two bad bitches are after him.
For the target.
Volyova shoots her load of probes out into the system. And so basically it's a bunch of self-replicating probes that they shoot out of the front of their ship every time they're approaching a system. That way they get a pretty good picture of what the system looks like and what's happening on the planet. So they shoot it out as they're slowing down. The probe stays pretty fast, and so they can triangulate, a good picture of the planet. Anything to add to that? They're just getting ready to go on that grind sesh. And they basically shoot out across the system and take pictures, videos, and data of everything on the planet. Because she wants to know what the situation is before they get there. So she surmises that they don't really have too much in orbit, and they just have like 1 or 2 major settlements and then like a few outposts. Nothing too much to worry about. She could pressure them to give them Sylveste. There should be no problem with that. She also notices something kinda funky, kinda wonky over on the other star, the neutron star, Hades. And she notices that there's a neutrino source coming in from the other star, which is a problem because neutrinos are artificial. So she knows something is over there, and she is concerned because she can't ignore that. Volyova's been awake, tending to the ship for 9 entire years, and I mean it's been 20 or so, but since the relativity shortens the time she experiences, she's only experienced 9 years. But Khouri says it doesn't really look like that because she's been using anti-aging drugs. She also grows out her hair, so she isn't bald anymore. So that's good. When Khouri and Volyova are walking around the ship, Volyova's like, "Hey Khouri, there's 2 issues, and one of them has to do with you, and one of them might not. But they're going to go see the captain and check on his condition."
And his condition's worse, correct? It's like there's like roots that are expanding.
Yeah, they're like digging into the ship.
Right. So it's making everything way worse than it was a couple years ago. Anyway.
And she's like, "I could, if necessity required it, take this part of the ship and then like just cut it out of the main ship and then just chuck it off into space, kind of like a surgeon taking out a big tumor." So Khouri and Volyova then they start talking about Sylveste and the last time that he was on the ship to help the captain, because she's like, "Well, I can't really operate on this plague man because I'm not a doctor, but Sylveste, or Sylveste's dad, is the doctor." So they go back to the last time that they met Sylveste on the ship. They brought him aboard, and they recorded it, and they start playing it through like some projections.
Okay, and the projections can only be seen by Volyova if she wears like these special goggles, and Khouri can see because of the implants she's got.
And they talk about how did Sylveste know to go to Resurgam? Because when she thinks about it, there's no way he could have known that the aliens were there. So how did he know to go to Resurgam to do this expedition? Predictions?
I'm thinking he's got like some memory from Calvin that like bled through into Sylveste. He's got like that intuition.
That intuition that something's there? How would Calvin have known?
Calvin's responsible.
He's a responsible man. He just knows things. That's where they run into a slight problem. As the lights start flashing, the klaxons start sounding, everything's going down. Okay. she gets a warning, and it says, one of those cache weapons, those planet-killing weapons, it's starting to get ready to shoot. It's about ready it's about ready to go.
So stupid.
Dr. Sylveste is back in prison. Isn't that great? Because Sluka is like the leader, or I think she's the leader of the True Path revolution that just executed like the entire upper head of the government of the Inundationists, and they actually show that they have blown up the capital with an antimatter nuclear bomb type thing. It's really just it's like a dot of antimatter, and antimatter is so powerful that even this dust grain was enough to like have 2 kilotons of yield, and so it blew a hole right through the dome. And they're still having resistance, and she starts talking about, yeah, we can just implant one of these in your teeth or in someone, or in like, it's basically undetectable. You can't detect the if you implant it into someone. So they're talking about sending suicide bombers basically in there. I don't think I can say that. I don't think I can say suicide bomber on YouTube, but they're sending them into the capital, or at least that's the plan. And she's like, well, Sylvester, you're a little bit lame. I don't like you like I used to like you. So you're going into the fridge for a while, or maybe he's going into the fridge for a while, I'm not sure. But yeah, and the doctor's like, I can fix your eyes, Buster. You want me to tinker with your winkers real quick?
So Sluka is keeping Sylveste. She doesn't exactly have like a purpose for him yet, but he's sort of a liability to her in a way. So she's just keeping him, and also his eyes have gotten restored a bit by
Dr. Falconer, who was working on him. He also mentioned that they might have visitors soon, so can we guess who that might be? Back on the ship, Volyova and Khouri are rushing down the hallway, down the elevator shaft to check on this rogue weapon, and it does not look good. We haven't seen Volyova really lose it, but I think now she's kind of losing it. And this is now episode 11.
There's a self-arming gun, and this gun is huge. It's like the size of a
rum.
It's the size of a rum. And this weapon can okay, so she used it on a moon and destroyed a moon, right?
Yeah.
And she's saying that it can destroy planets. It's a planet-destroying gun.
And the science is crazy in this. Alastair Reynolds delivers. He says...
He ate when he wrote this. He was on to something.
He was on to something, I think. But it says that the gun uses quantum black holes in a geodesic something or other. Tiny black holes. So, I don't really have to know how that works for it to be destructive. Just know space-time ripping apart gun. And, yeah, pretty gnarly.
Khouri and the Mademoiselle are talking right now. And the Mademoiselle is saying, hey, now that we have this super massive gun, it's gonna make killing Sylveste way easier than we thought. And Khouri's like, what do you mean by that? And she's like, you can destroy the whole planet. Not saying like that was her main goal. It wasn't her intention, but like now that the option is there, there's no reason not to do it if it'll get the job done. And Khouri's like, no, that's inhumane. And Mademoiselle's like, what? You scared?
Pansy? Chicken? You don't want to destroy a whole planet? And what's happening here is the Mademoiselle is on a implant inside Khouri's head. So how is she controlling the cache weapon? Well, when they searched the gunnery where they found Sunstealer, she inserted herself into the gunnery as well. So now she has access to the gunnery, but the version of her that's in the gunnery has no connection to the version that's in Khouri's head. So they can't even talk to each other. So it's not like she can be like, oh, call it off, even if she would. What they tried to do is they tried to have a shuttle go out and block the weapon, but the point defense cannons just blew up the shuttle, so they don't even have control of the point defense. And then Khouri tries to get into the seat of the gunnery, but the seat is gimbling all over the place, like violently. And so what Volyova does is temporarily cuts power to the seat. Khouri gets in it, and then it starts bucking again with auxiliary power. And then Khouri jacks in to the gunnery, and so now she's in gun space, quote unquote.
So the Sun Stealer, is he like an actual kind of person, or like a being, or like a power kind of thing, or is he the ship?
Well, he's the alien from the Resurgam.
Yeah, I know, but is it like a physical being, or is it?
We haven't got there yet.
What? Okay, whatever. Anyway, this thing, the Sun Stealer, is the one trying to, kind of take over, or like kick.
Trying to stop the Mademoiselle from blowing out the planet.
Exactly. So obviously, Khouri is with the idea of not blowing up a planet and kind of going along with the Sun Stealer now, even though we know the Sun Stealer isn't the best character here, or being, or whatever, presence.
He's driven someone insane, yeah.
Exactly. But in this situation, it's kind of for the better. And Volyova doesn't know, kind of saying like, oh, what's going on, you know?
She isn't clued in yet about what's going on.
Exactly.
She's still kind of just trying to make sure she doesn't lose control of her weapon.
Mm-hmm. So then everything's going to fall together. Maybe Khouri will tell her, oh, here are my motives, and really tell her what's going on.
And so what Khouri and Sylvester are trying to do is they're trying to gain access to the point defense cannons on the ship from the Mademoiselle, trying to take access to those so they can use the point defense cannons to blow up the cache weapon. Because they can't get control of the cache weapon, so the only thing to do is blow it up. Okay, so Khouri McFlurry all of a sudden is back on Sky's Edge, her home world, about like a few decades ago, before she left to go to Yellowstone. So she walks into a military tent that has her future husband in it. And you're like, how did she get here? She was in a chair.
Anyway.
And what Fazil, her husband, her future husband, says to her is that technically he's not there. It's actually the Mademoiselle who implanted this memory into her head. So the Mademoiselle constructed a memory for Khouri to remember that contained information that the Mademoiselle deemed she would eventually need to know, but it was dangerous. And so what she did was she constructed a memory using Khouri's memories of her husband and, you know, a familiar place, which was her home planet. And so we're now getting kind of like a flashback, but not really. It's just simulated, so it's actually current time. She's just having a flash memory, I guess, that just unlocked. A constructed memory. This part of the book's really confusing for me. And yeah, it's very hard to get your head around. But I think that's where we're going to leave it off for now, on the cliffhanger. What's she going to talk to her husband, who's not really her husband, who's actually the Mademoiselle, who's actually fresh.
He mentioned it, though. He mentioned it had something to do with war, because the Mademoiselle wanted a setting that was like kind of military/warish, to kind of like as like a gateway conversation to
get her in the mood to talk about war, in the headspace for war.
And the Mademoiselle knew that would be it.
So what is this war she needs to discuss? Find out next episode. We come back with chapter 12. Okay,
what am I thinking?
What are you thinking?
Thinking Volyova and Mademoiselle crossover episode. They finally meet.
They meet each other.
They meet each other.
Or like Khouri's the mediator.
Exactly.
She's like, say hi to my imaginary friend.
Is she in the room with us?
She's in the room with us, right? She's here.
She's here with us.
She's finally here.
Finally.